Today we will be discussing the intricacies and prominence of oceanic sediments. My name is Savannah Meyers, and I will be discussing the origination and classification of sediments. People often ask, what are oceanic sediments? And according to Britannica, they are marine sediments, any deposit of insoluble material, primarily rock and soil particles transported from land areas to the ocean by wind and rivers, as well as remains of marine organisms, products of submarine volcanoes, chemical precipitation from seawater, and materials from outer space, e.g. meteorites, and that accumulate on the seafloor. And as you can see, the sediments are historic because they are oceanic fossils and are used for modern research. This contributes to their modern day relevance. Oceanic sediments come from a variety of things. If they are lithogenous, they are derived from the land. And as you can see here, this is a picture of a lithogenous sediment. Additionally, biogenous sediments come from other organisms, and this is a picture of a biogenous sediment. And then we have hydrogenous sediments that come from the water. And lastly, we have cosmogenous sediments that are derived from the cosmos, aka space. Oceanic sediments have various origins: seafloor spreading, weathering, erosion, volcanoes, certain chemical processes, and even biological activity all contribute to the formation of these sediments. The sediments can either be neritic or pelagic. Neritic sediments can be found on the shallow water deposits. They are also lithogenous, which come from quartz, as well as turbite from turbidity currents, which can be found on beaches and come along from glacial deposits. As you can see on this diagram, it displays the marine sediment mixture that biogenous sediments like coral or hydrogenous evaporites are located on the lagoon on the far left. The turbidity current allows turbites, also known as submarine fans, to form under it. The abyssal clays are found at the bottom of the seafloor and are fine particles. The manganese nodules are below the CCD. The calcareous ooze, which will be discussed later, on both sides of the mid-ocean ridge. The sediments are based on different sizes and levels of energy. High-energy sediments are large particles like gravel, and low-energy particles are tiny-sized particles like clay. The further a particle is from the shore, the bigger the pieces are. Clay is the smallest, followed by silt, sand, and gravel.
Today we'll be discussing the oozes and significance of oceanic sediments. I'm Varian Diggs, and I'll be discussing these points. Calcareous ooze is made up of calcium carbonate and the skeletal remains of organisms. Siliceous ooze, however, is made up of silica, radiolorine, and diatom skeletal remains. To be defined as an ooze, they have to have at least 30% skeletal remains of organisms. Oozes are categorized by the distribution of the skeletal remains of organisms within the sediment. As supported by Britannica, they stated the pelagic sediment, of which at least 30% is composed of the skeletal remains of microscopic floating organisms. Oozes are basically deposits of soft mud on the ocean floor. The oozes are subdivided first into calcareous oozes, containing skeletons of calcium carbonate, and siliceous oozes, containing skeletons made of silica, and then are divided again according to the predominant skeleton type. The oozes are indicators of whether certain oceanic areas are productive or not. Siliceous ooze is more prominent in high productive areas due to its composition. Silica organisms dissolve faster in surface waters, so more productive surface waters are required to supply siliceous oozes with skeletal remains. Calcareous ooze only readily dissolves in cold and deep waters, which is harder to determine if certain areas are productive or not. Oceanic sediments help determine past climates, track the movement of the sea floor, track nutrient availability, and track ocean circulation.